Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Hello to all my horror fans, and welcome to SHOCKTOBERFEST 2024. I am your host, Wildman Wes. For those of you that have been playing the home game for the past few years, you know the drill, folks. 31 horror movies in 31 days. Some of them are some of the classics, some of them are independents, some of them are obscure, some of them animated. In the end, it's a perfect time to get scared. For the first day of this year's SHOCKTOBERFEST, we're going to do an obscure one. We are going to be talking about 1987's Blood Harvest. This one is a very interesting independent horror film. So the movie takes place in a small farming community where the bank is starting to foreclose on the farmers' businesses, and the town is starting to get really upset about it until one day, some of these people that are taking over from the bank go missing. Some are found dead. Now we fast forward to a young girl named Jill who's coming home from college, recently engaged, and she finds out that her house has been trashed, her parents are missing, and she's trying to figure out exactly what is going on. She gets in touch with one of her former boyfriends from her past named Gary, and also his slightly deranged brother Merv, or the Marvelous Mervo as he likes to call himself for the entertainment business. While she's trying to figure out everything that's going on with her parents, her ex-boyfriend is trying to help her out, meanwhile trying to rekindle the flame from their previous relationship. Unfortunately for him, he fails multiple times due to the fact that she is, as we mentioned, engaged. While that is going on, Gary's brother Merv is having one of his episodes where he's not all there, and he's talking very down about himself. He's very self-loathing, whether he's in his clown makeup or when he's walking around in his plaid. While all this is going on, there are people in the town that are questioning what is going on between the bank and the farmers that are losing their establishments, and they start getting picked off one by one by a mysterious person. Not to mention the fact that this mysterious person is stalking Jill, drugs her, takes some suggestive pictures, and eventually the truth comes out when her fiance arrives. He ends up getting killed, her best friend ends up getting killed. We all think that possibly, is Merv the killer? Nope, he was a red herring the whole time. It was Gary, the jealous ex-boyfriend that was killing everybody. And the reason why is when his parents lost their farm to Jill's parents at the bank, they ended up unaliving themselves, and he couldn't deal with that, so he was extracting whatever revenge possible. Until Merv helps out Jill, and they get out of Dodge. So now, as always, we're going to talk about the things that I like about the film, as well as the things that I dislike about the film. A good reference on this one is Marvelous Merv with his face paint. It is slightly reminiscent of the real-life serial killer John Wayne Gacy. However, there are some differences. However, the things that he says and the self-loathing is somewhat reminiscent to some of the interviews that John Wayne Gacy gave during his time before his death in prison. Another interesting fact about it is Marvelous Merv is played by none other than the late musician Tiny Tim. For those of you who don't know Tiny Tim, he was known for his high-pitched singing with his song, "Tiptoe through the window, through the tulips." That was the best impression I can do. I hope I did it justice. But going back and forth from his high-pitched singing as Marvelous Merv to doing some of his deranged diatribes of self-loathing, as well as wanting to help Jill during her time of crisis, is very nerve-wracking, but also entertaining at the same time. Another thing is the special effects. Though somewhat primitive for the late 80s, it serves its purpose. I mean, there are some moments where they use the same cutscene of blood dripping down on hay barrels, but still, it's effective. Now, that being said, we're going to talk about things that I don't like. So, in movies like this, when a mysterious killer is going around knocking people off one by one, eventually the reveal happens. However, in this movie, we as the audience that watch it believe it's Merv, but it's not, because at one point you see someone in a brown jacket and basically jeans, wearing a nylon stocking over their face to cover up their distinctions, and we as an audience we obviously know that whoever's behind it is not Merv because their hair is very short. Not just that, but the moments where Gary is pretty much trying to seduce Jill even though she's told him no multiple times, it gives it away pretty quick. And not to mention the fact that this is going on while Merv is sitting in another spot that is, not sight unseen. We know where he is. So, yeah, but then again, that could be that parody moment of poking fun at the horror genre itself. Now it's time to grade this film. With the things that I like about it and the things that I don't like about it, this is a tough call, because the story is interesting. The delivery and payoff, somewhat lackluster. The best way I could describe this would be as what the comedian Billy Connolly once said about opera. Sometimes it's 2/3 too long. In this case, this movie is about 2/3 too long. It is roughly about an hour and a half, but then again, Friday the 13th was roughly 80 minutes, and you know what? You didn't even know who the killer was until the end, which is awesome. So that being said, I'm gonna be generous about this one. I'm gonna give this one a B-. And I'm being generous about giving it a B- because I know what they were trying to do, but it just feels like they were forcing the concept on us when we already got it. So that's why though generous, I am going to be a little bit, judgmental, and, that happens. If you liked this episode, make sure you leave a thumbs up, and if you didn't agree, just leave a thumbs down. I totally get it. We're all entitled to our opinions, especially when it comes to horror movies. Don't forget to also push that little red button and ring that little bell for instant notifications. Until then, I'm Wildman Wes, and we'll see you tomorrow for Day 2 of Shocktoberfest 2024. Take care, and as always, stay scared, kiddies.